So welcome once again. Today we're going to be fitting a lowering kit to the Triumph Tiger 800. One of the reasons for this is it's a little bit too high on the height for myself, and if I do take a passenger I want to make sure that I can get my feet down on the ground. So what I've done is I've ordered up a set of dog bones. These are them. They are 20mm longer than standard. I didn't want to really lower it too much, but I'm also going to be lowering the front forks by a certain amount as well. So we're looking at a 20 on the back and about 12 on the front. This would hopefully give me enough room when it's dropped to get my feet flat on the floor. So let's take a look at what's involved. So on the bike what we're going to be doing is replacing these two bars. We've got nuts at either side, and I believe these are 17mm. They should be tight, so we're going to have a little bit of stress getting them off, but it should be fairly simple to replace these with the others. So one thing worth remembering when it comes to lowering the bike is that the wheel will need to go up. So what we might have to do is to block this area with some wood or something to lift the suspension up enough so that when we take off the dog bones they'll come off quite cleanly. Now obviously when we put the longer ones on we will have to again lift the back wheel up a little bit more to compensate for the drop. Should be fairly easy, should be straightforward. I think it probably takes about 10 minutes. So I've chalked up the bike with a couple of pieces of wood, and basically when I undo the bolt this wheel will no longer drop. So we'll get them bolts off and we'll see what it takes. So just there we've got the head of one nut, and down here we've got the head of the other one. So we'll take them two off first. So because I've already chalked up the back of the bike, we find that the bolts come out quite easily. As you can see, there's no stress on that at all. So that's the link off, obviously both of them. So comparing the links in length, you can see we've got a little bit longer on this side, so obviously we've got the 20mm on the length. Now putting these back on might be slightly difficult because there's the weight difference on the back of the wheel. So what I may have to do again is lift the wheel, bring it up slightly so that we can enable us to get the correct distance between the two bolts that are there. So I think what we'll do is we'll chock the wheel up a little bit further, probably another hopefully 20mm, and that will give us the correct distance between them two, and it should go back on quite easily. So you can probably see getting the correct amount of width between that one and that one will make putting these in a lot easier. Now we have already oiled up the bolts, and there is just a slight difference, as you can see there. It's pushed out the centre pin, it's pushed out the bush slightly, so we need that back wheel to go up slightly more, hopefully to give it the correct amount of lift to allow us to push that in easily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the other dog bone on the other side. And then I'm going to obviously put the nut on this one. Now, depending on which bike or where it's been serviced before, this may be the other way around on your nut and bolt situation. So we've now got them hanging quite nicely. We know there's a little bit of difference there between the holes here and the bush. With it already moving around quite easily, I don't think I need to put any more grease on those. So we'll lift the wheel a little bit more, and that will enable us to get the correct length. So because we've chopped the back wheel up again, what's happened is it's rose up a little bit, or risen up, which enables us to get them on quite easily. You can see they did actually go on a lot easier than the first go. Now I will torque these up to the correct torque setting, but for now I'm just going to tighten them up so we can put the bike and test the height difference. So as you can see, we've got that first bit on, so we shouldn't have much trouble getting the rest of it on. Now because we've lowered the back by 20mm, we need to make some adjustments on the front to hopefully bring the trail into the same area as what it was when the back was up. So now we're moving on to lowering the front. We were going to just lower it through the yokes by about 12mm. It's fairly easy to do. I'm going to be using a ratchet along with an Allen key on the end. That will go into the hole, and we'll just loosen the top ones up first. So you've got two at either side. So they're the upper clamps. They're slack. Go around and do exactly the same on the other side. Now these are relatively easy to get to. As soon as you feel the slackness on the bolts, then you know they are undone. Now the lower ones are a little bit more difficult to get to, but it is possible to get in there to slacken these off. Oh, and I've just blown a little bit of paint off there, which I didn't want to do. Now one thing to remember is most of the weight on the Triumph Trigger is on the front end. So when you're loosening the front off, what will happen is naturally the weight will come down at the front and it will push the forks upwards. So I'm going to do the two on the other side, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slacken them off a slight amount so we keep the fork in the yoke at the bottom. We start getting the movement on the top of the forks, so we know they are slack enough anyway. And we've now got them to a point where they are all slack. We put a little bit of weight on the front just to bring this through by 12mm. So by compressing the front and moving the forks around a slight amount, we've now got a drop. I'm just going to get something to measure that drop. Now I've got a vernier gauge, so what I can do on that one, I can set that to 12mm. I'll lock it off, and then I can use the back section here to measure the amount that we've got on drop. So if I now bring that alongside the bike, I can see we've got probably about 15mm there. So we need to screw that one back down a bit until we've got the 12. So we check that that's got 12 on that side. And a slight adjustment on that fork, and we've got these set at 12mm. It's just a recommendation that someone has basically put towards me and said, you're going to drop the back at 20, do the front for 12. Don't know if it's a recommended drop or not, but I'm sure someone will let me know if it's wrong. So now we've got that set. So the last thing to do is to re-torque up the head bolts for the steering. Got my torque wrench. And these should be torqued up to 20 pounds per square inch. So that just about concludes the fitting and the lowering of the front and rear. As you can see from my height compared to the bike's height, it is quite tall for me. Seat height I think is around about 800, which is a little bit on the tall side for someone that's only got a short inside leg. So let's take a look at what is or what has been lowered. So we did a rule measure earlier, and the seat height was 850, which is quite high for me. I wanted something a little bit better, so now we've reduced it by 20mm. We're now at 830. So let's see what the reach is like now. So as you can see now, I've got the foot on the floor. I've got trainers on, which are ideal, but with my bike boots on, I imagine that I would be able to flat foot it now. So I'll lower it to give me a little bit more presence when it comes to moving around on the bike. As you can see, I move the bike around quite easily. So manoeuvring the bike won't be as much an issue as it was. So the only way to try it is to take it out on the road and see what it's like. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit better. Two up, I'm expecting the suspension to be even lower, so hopefully with both of us on it should be easier to manoeuvre and to paddle around with both of us on. But that was an easy fix. Total time 10 to 15 minutes to do the changes, not bad at all for a result. So anybody that's concerned about losing ground clearance on the bike because we've lowered it, we have still got 23 centimeters, which works out at about 9 inches on travel. So that's with it empty. So I'm assuming it'll go down a little bit on that, but I don't intend to take the bike off-road anyway. So for me, it's a road bike with myself and my wife on. So it's not going to bother me that much. So we just got back from a little short ride. We've been into town, been around town. Obviously we've done some stops and starts, and I assure you it does feel a lot more secure putting the feet down with the bike lowered. So I think it's basically a thumbs up from us. One thing I am concerned about though is that because I've dropped the bike down, the side stand does seem a little bit long now. So we may be investing in a shorter side stand, or we may be contacting Triumph about getting a side stand from the Triumph Low on the Tiger 800. They do a lowered version. It's a factory option with the side stand, and the side stand is already shorter than the one that we've got on this. So it might be something that we do in the future. So I hope you all enjoyed the video that we've put together today. Like I say, it's only a short video because it doesn't take very long to do. It might be something you want to do for yourself, but at least now you can see what it took to do the front and rears. It doesn't affect the handling. For me, it's just the same as it was before, but now just slightly lower. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, don't give us that thumbs up, and we'd appreciate that. But that's about it for today, guys. See you next time.